Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1557, Double Trouble. Whoa, what does double trouble mean? You'll find out in one moment. Did anybody else have difficulty with the time changes today? The daylight saving ended for the rest of the United States. Arizona stayed where it was. The only problem is at 5:30, I'm sort of like, oh crap, I got to take Zeffy for a walk before I go live at 6 o'clock. Forgetting that I was now on Mountain Time with the rest of the Mountain Time Zone people, and California was now an hour, Pacific Time was now an hour behind me. And it wasn't until I was out on the walk, I suddenly looked at my clock and I went, well, why hasn't my reminder thing gone off? Because I got things on my phone. But my reminder hasn't gone off. And then it suddenly dawned on me that, oh, it's coming out to 6 p.m. Mountain Time, not 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I have a whole nother hour. So as if, I had an extra long walk today. But I have to say, that's the only difficulty we've had with the time change today. It's been awesome because in Arizona, we don't change our clocks. So now the rest of Mountain Time is back with us, and Pacific Time is on their own zone for 4 months. Yeah, we'll be back there in March. I know. So anyway, double trouble for today. So I got to watch a movie today that I haven't watched in, I don't remember when. And it's Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure that came out in 1989, starring Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. I love that movie. It's just so off the wall. It's out there. It's cool. It's awesome. It's just one of those movies that just makes you feel good. And you have good laughs with and everything else. And like when they meet Beethoven and Socrates, and I'm trying to remember some of the other names that they call people. But it's just a really cool movie, and it's one that I've always enjoyed ever since it came out. I remember watching it in the theater when it came out, and it's a movie I've watched it on and off over the years. And I was looking at it today, and I thought, oh, when was the last time I saw that? Well, let's just pop it on for now. It's only like an hour and a half. So we sat there and watched that, and that was pretty cool. And yeah, so we got that watched, and I thought, well, I could really watch tonight's movie, which is You Only Live Twice, which is number 5 on the James Bond list. And I was like, yeah, no. We watched that in the evening. I was sticking true to that. But here's a couple of interesting things that I found out today. Well, one of them is that Charles Gray plays a British intelligence officer in You Only Live Twice. And he's about to give James, and they're meeting in this Japanese house in Tokyo, and he's and Charles Gray character Henderson is attached with the British embassy in Tokyo. So they're meeting in this Japanese house, where they have the paper walls and all of that sort of thing. And he gets killed as he's about to reveal everything to James Bond. And so that's the end you see of him. But so I suddenly thought, well, okay, so James Bond in this movie gets killed, comes back to life. So You Only Live Twice. But also, so does Charles Henderson. So does Charles Gray as an actor. So he gets killed in You Only Live Twice, but he comes back. He'll be back in Diamonds Are Forever, in 4 days. I think it's 4. Hang on, You Only Live Twice. Sorry, in 2 days. Yes, in 2 days you'll see him again in Diamonds Are Forever, where he plays Blofeld. So he goes from being a British intelligence officer in You Only Live Twice to being the arch villain in Diamonds Are Forever, being Blofeld, the head of Spectre. So, and this is the time that this is the movie where we get introduced to Little Nellie, and Little Nellie is a gyrocopter, and Sean Connery goes flying around in that and has this camera or something attached in his helmet, if I remember correctly, so that those back on the ground can see what he is seeing. And something that I learned today, because they turned around and said the book You Only Live Twice was the last book that was published while Ian Fleming was still alive. The book was published in March of 1964, and they said it was the last one to be published in his lifetime. And he passed away on the 12th of August, 1964. But there was a very special book, which I totally did not know. So this was a huge surprise to me, and has been added to the end of the James Bond list simply because it was written by Ian Fleming. And this book was published. He wrote it in 1962, but it was published as 3 books on the 22nd of October, 1964. Remember, he passed on the 12th of August, 1964. And his book was published as 3 books that he wrote in 1962. And if you've ever, and I have seen this movie, I don't know how many times, and I never picked up that his name is in the opening credits. And that's one of my all-out favorite musicals that I absolutely love and adore. I can't remember the last time I've seen it. I don't think I've ever seen the book or read the book, because I'm sure I would have made the connection on the author's name there. But it's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So I've got that in there because I don't remember the last time I watched Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And it's one of my all-time favorite musicals. I just love that movie. It is a feel-good movie. And I did not realize that it was based on a book written by Ian Fleming. And he wrote it in 1962, but it wasn't published until October of 1964. So I'm kind of looking for, so I've tacked that onto the end of the James Bond movies simply because it was written by Ian Fleming. And it's the only children's book he ever wrote. And it's such a cool story. Might see if I can try and get a copy of the book. Maybe go down to the library, see if they have a copy of the book. And just to sit and read the book. But they actually ended up writing it as publishing it as 3 separate books. So I'm not sure if the books are still available, but I'm going to see if I can find them, because I would actually love to read the original stories of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And because I love the movies. The songs, I love the songs that are in there. And there are times that I'm wandering around the house and I've got the tune going in my head and totally different words going with it. And they're going, hang on, that's not right. What's that? Well, that was the one that was from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And then I go back to the original words. So see if he's just sort of like, I don't know if you can see her. Hang on. Oh, that won't move far enough. She's laying there with her head up on the armrest, just looking at me. Hi, sweetie girl. She's just got her eye. Oh, she's winking at me now. I love you too. So I'm kind of excited. I'm going to add that book onto the end of the James Bond, that movie onto the end of the James Bond movie. But in the meantime, I'm going to see if I can find the books. See if the library has them. See if they're available on Kindle or something where I can sit down and read the books and then compare it to the movie, because I like to do that from time to time. But yes, so it's been a double trouble type of day, because we've watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where they just get up to all sorts of mischief and things with people from history and come back and do a phenomenal presentation on their history. We've got You Only Live Twice with Sean Connery tonight as James Bond. It is his last movie as James Bond, and because tomorrow will be on Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was done by George Lazenby, before Sean Connery comes back in the following night in Diamonds Are Forever, which is the last James Bond movie that he did, until he did Never Say Never Again in the 80s. So big time gap there. But there's a good story to go with that, with Never Say Never Again, which we're going to be watching at the end after we watch No Time to Die, because it's not part of the Eon Productions. So although I did go and watch Casino Royale from 1967 with David Niven and Peter Sellers in it, only because I'd never seen it before, and I just thought, I don't know. I just watched it, just a double feature that night, and watched that one too. That was a really cool movie. If you haven't seen the spoof movie, Casino Royale is this total spoof movie about James Bond. It is absolutely hilarious. And David Niven, Peter Sellers are in there. Ursula Anders, who is the Bond girl from Dr. No, is in there. She is not wearing her bikini in there, but somebody else is. And they do have references to the first 4 Bond movies in that spoof movie of Casino Royale. They even have 2 girls walking around in gold paint. Excuse me. So, so that's it for tonight. We're going to go, I'm actually going to go take the trash out, then we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to do go watch You Only Live Twice. And this one takes place in Japan and has to do with spaceships being hijacked in space. Yeah, I figured that one out. And so it's going to be an interesting one to watch. Like I said, I love watching the James Bond things, because you see things progressing through time with fashion and gadgets and the storyline, the technology, the cinematography, all the different, and you even see a helicopter picking up a car with a big magnet. It's a helicopter with a big magnet dangling underneath it, and it picks up a car. You just move with the times. Everything is done within that time and is true to that time period. So it's, yeah, I'm still trying to find another film franchise that has these movies over a certain period of time. So you got James Bond, 25 movies over 60 years, covers a lot of stuff. So we're out of here. Go have a super fantastic sparkling evening. Oh, and tomorrow night we have a special guest. I have Alex coming on tomorrow night, and he is a real estate investor and a real estate broker as well. And he's got some really cool stuff on how he's helping people live their best life now. So join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and come join us and hear this great conversation we're going to have with Alex. I know it's going to be great because him and I have already had a great conversation, and he's a really cool dude. So come join us tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific to see Alex, and we'll be putting out all the stuff for that too, so you can get reminders and all of that sort of thing. So go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.